Hi guys, Ed here and welcome to my channel. So a few weeks ago on my YouTube page, I put out a poll asking people if they were struggling to lose belly fat, and the results were quite surprising. So I thought to myself, do you know what? Why not put together a video that gives you a step-by-step guide, a guide that's really easy to follow, that will help you get rid of that belly fat. Now look, the great thing about this is that the formula remains the same depending how much fat you need to lose. All that changes is the length of time that you need to follow this process for. So it's extremely simple, it's not overly complicated, and it's a question I get on a regular basis. So I thought with this video, it's going to give you easy, actionable steps that you can follow, you can implement into your routine. And also I'm going to cut through a lot of the noise and debunk a lot of the myths around what people should be eating or what they should be, how they should be exercising in order to lose that stubborn belly fat. So what we're going to do is I'm going to load up the software on my computer that I use to coach my private clients, and we're going to make up a character. He's going to have a goal, and then I'm going to show you what I would do and how we would put together this plan in order for someone to lose anywhere between 10% body fat and anywhere between sort of 20 to 30 pounds, or in kilograms, that will be 9 and 14 kilograms roughly within a 12-week window. All right, guys, so let's load up the app. Let's head to the computer and let's take it from there. Right, guys, I have just loaded up the software that I use to coach my private clients, and we're going to use this to put the plan together so that it should be relatively easy for you to follow along with this. Now, before we do so, for those of you that don't know me, I just want to very quickly show you what I'm about and what I've been doing so that you don't think I'm just a random guy talking about fat loss on the internet. So I'll show you my Instagram page. So I've been a mental health coach for 2 decades now, just going over 20 years. And here are some of the results that I've gotten over the years with some clients, right? So this is Matt. We lost somewhere along the lines of 50 pounds roughly in about 6 months. Life-changing. Dennis, busy entrepreneur, as you can see, lost around 40 pounds in 6 months. This was a ex-athlete, pro athlete who broke his neck, and then we rehabbed him. Simon, James, so on and so forth. So these are just some of the guys that I've helped over the years just get into incredible shape. Okay. So hopefully now you don't just think I'm a random guy. I've actually been doing this for a long time, and this, what I'm about to share with you, works. Okay. So let's now look at what body fat percentage looks like in men. So I would say, for the purpose of this video, let's just say the goal is for us to lose the gut, lose the tummy, burn belly fat, and get to around 13 to 15%. I think for most people, for most guys that I tend to work with who are in their 40s and 50s, busy execs, I think this is a good starting point, a good goal, a target to aim for first. Of course, you can get into here and here. That's not a problem. And here's the thing, nothing actually changes, right? You just need to do those same things that I'm going to share with you for longer. So if you're here and you want to get to here, this might take 6 months or 9. Obviously, if your body fat's a lot lower, 25%, you want to get to 15, it might only take you 12 weeks, but nothing changes. We just need more time. Okay, so let's leave this open, but let's say the goal is for us to get to roughly 15%, right? To not have a gut, to not have a belly sticking out, just relatively kind of lean in the midsection. So we need to come up with a character, so to speak. So let's say that Bob, let's call him Bob. He's a male. He's 50, works in banking, has a family, stressful job, doesn't have much spare time, that sort of guy. And he is currently 200 pounds and he wants to get to, let's say 175, right? 25 pounds, okay? So let's say his goal weight is about 80 kilograms. Right, let's just set that as a goal. Now, let's actually start building this together. So this is the calendar. So what we're going to do, we're going to run a 12-week program, because most guys doing my program tend to lose on average about 1.5 pounds per week. Some a bit more, some a little bit less, but on average. So let's say if you want to lose 20 pounds, it's going to take you roughly 12 weeks. So let's go into here, training program. Let's add, and let's call this phase a weight loss phase. And we're going to start that on, where are we? We're going to start it on Monday, 12th of August, and we're going to run this for 12 weeks. So we'll be looking to reach our goal roughly about the 3rd of November. Okay, 25 pounds lighter, which is about 9 kilograms. And hopefully around 10% body fat lighter as well. All right, so we're going to hit save. And this is pretty much what I would do with a new client. Of course, there's a lot more nuance to this. I'll need a lot more information. Things are a lot more bespoke. But what I'm going to share with you is the formula that would work. If you follow this, that's going to help you lose that weight. So here's what I would suggest. First things first, let's look at this in blocks of 4, right? So 4 weeks at a time. So what I would do in the first 4 weeks is I would do this. I would create some habits, and I would say I would want for the first week Bob to aim to get anywhere between 5,000 to 6 or to 7,000 steps a day. Okay, we're going to start this when we start the plan. We're going to run this for 4 weeks, 4 weeks blocks every day. We're going to add that, right? So this is just going to make sure that even if we're busy, even if we can't exercise, we are making sure that we are moving our body, burning some calories, and just almost background activity. So 5,000 to 7,000 steps daily, I think, is relatively achievable for most people. Now, when it comes to exercise, for you to lose that stubborn belly fat, here's what I would suggest for the first 4 weeks. I would go, now I'm not going to go into exactly what exercises you should be doing, but I'm just going to keep this as a general for now, because again, there's nuance to this. But all I'm going to suggest is that we do 3 sessions a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Let's repeat this for 4 weeks. Now, here's the thing, guys, that most people get stuck in. What you do in these sessions is entirely up to you. You can do swimming if you want. You can do a dance class. You can do weights. You can jump on a treadmill. It really does not matter, right? When it comes to fat loss and exercise, yes, resistance training is important. And if I was, again, prescribing this to someone, I would say for this to be at least 2 sessions of some form of resistance training, of weightlifting. And then the other one, just do some sort of cardio, whatever you enjoy. But it's really not that important. Just do 3 sessions a week for about 30-35 minutes of something that you enjoy. Okay? Believe it or not, when it comes to fat loss and burning that stubborn belly fat, it's actually more closely linked to your nutrition than it is to training. So as long as you commit to 3 times a week, have fun with these sessions. It's not that important. Okay? So as you can see, this has been scheduled for 4 weeks. There. Right? Cool. So that's exercise. Now let's look at nutrition. Goals and habits. And then let's go to here. And let's go to nutrition goal. So now I'm not going to overly complicate this, because let's just say Bob, let's go back to Bob, right? He's in his 50s. He's at a desk most of the day. Here's what I would do, right? Now, for us to get the best results with this, we are going to need to track calories, okay? It's not necessary, but it will give you the best results. So what I would do is I would start Bob on 2,200 calories a day. I would make sure that he had a 20% variance, means that if he comes with 20% of this number, it marks it as a completed task when we look at the compliance. And then all I would do is I would go, I want to make sure Bob gets at least 33% of his calories to come from protein. Now, the way that you work this out is you go to, or maybe a little bit more, 200 grams. So the gold standard for setting your protein goal is basically 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. So if Bob is 200 pounds at the moment, roughly 90 kilos, then he should be aiming for about 200 grams of protein. Now, I'll be honest, guys, for many people, this is quite unrealistic. And most people, when they start my plan, they're somewhere like here, right, at about 50 grams. So again, I like to increase this with time. We can't just go from here to here overnight, okay? So I would say that if we can aim for about 25% of these calories to come from protein, that's a really good start. Yeah, and then what I would do in terms of tracking, I would go track. We could use this in-app feature that I have on this software, or you can use MyFitnessPal. But here's what I would do with foods, right? I would set these numbers here. I would say to Bob, right, Bob, run this for a week and then see what happens to your weight after 1 week. So let's save this. So now when the client opens his dash here, he'll see his goals here. Just ignore this. This is me, but ignore that. This is Bob, right? So goals 2,200 calories, of which 138 is protein. And then Bob will just input all his calories daily. And this is what we would do, is we would, we would start that nutrition plan on a Monday, for example, run it for 7 days, and then see what happens. Track your stats on here. So track body stats, right? So weight, waist measurement, chest measurement, and so on. I would then see what happens after 1 week of Bob eating these numbers here. Now, if the weight has remained the same, then we need to bring this number down, right? Because that means that, Bob isn't moving enough for these number of calories. So I would then go back here and I would edit this and say, right, so now we're going to try 2,000 calories and still keeping 25% of protein. And then I would save that. So that will bring us into week 2. I would then run that for another week. So that another week. And then hopefully by then, Bob would have lost a pound, right? So at that point, it's like, right, so we need to get to around 1.5 pounds per week of weight loss. So then we would go back in to here and we would dial it in even more and maybe go 1,900, keeping the protein at 25%. Save. And then guess what? This week here, Bob has now lost 1.5 kilos in a week. So then so when we get to that point where he's losing 1.5 pounds, sorry, not kilos, pounds in a week, that's the sweet spot for weight loss, in my opinion. So then we just maintain that calorie throughout the rest of the journey. Now, let's just go back to the beginning. If Bob has, eats the original calories of 2,200 and his weight goes up, then obviously those calories are too high. Bring it down by 300 or 400 calories until you keep playing around with the calories, and you have to be consistent with those until you get to roughly 1.5 pounds of weight loss per week. So this is looking at the first 4 weeks here. So let's just say we found that sweet spot. So all I would do then in the second phase of 4 weeks, I would keep the workouts the same. There's no need to make this process any more difficult. So I would go back to here. I would go to repeat Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays, repeat for another 4 weeks, right? Because it's clearly working. Bob's losing weight. He's mixing up his exercises, doing some spin, some, bicycle, some swimming, some long hikes, whatever. But what I would do is slightly increase maybe the steps ever so slightly. So I would now say, right, so now the goal is let's just increase the steps from 7,000 to say 9,000. And that was it the second? So the second for 4 weeks every day. So you can see the steps are here, right? So a bit more than the previous weeks. And then what I would do then is also with the protein at this point, at week 5, I would increase the protein slightly. So we've now got a good rate of weight loss. We're not going to change the calories because we've identified that if Bob eats 1,900 daily calories, he will lose weight. But now we're just going to push this number up to about 152, roughly. And when it comes to carbs and fats, it does not matter, guys, right? It really does not matter. Like if you want to have a look, if we go back to here, same calories, but more protein, 152. Honestly, if you eat more carbs and less fats, right, because you prefer to eat this way, that's absolutely fine. This number hasn't changed. So therefore your weight will still lose weight. If you prefer to eat high fats and low carbs, that doesn't matter either. And so many people are always so concerned about, oh, what if I eat carbs? Like, it doesn't matter, guys. You can play around these numbers. You know, you could essentially, if you wanted to, you could do this. Very low protein. I wouldn't recommend this because you're going to feel like crap, right? Very low protein, very low fat, extremely high carbohydrates, but only 1,900 calories. You would still lose weight because this is what matters. Okay, but in terms of muscle recovery, in terms of, you know, just general health, we want to obviously have protein and it helps us feel fuller for longer. We want to have some levels of fats, at least 20%, because that helps us with hormone production. So here's roughly a sweet spot for this plan. But these are not important, so I don't like to make it any more complicated than it is. So I would just say to Bob, focus on 152 grams of protein and keeping the calories the same. Okay, so let's look at the weekly plan. So Bob's now lost in week 8. He's lost now, what, 12 pounds, maybe a bit more. Okay, and for the last 4 weeks, guess what? We're not going to change much either. What we're going to do, we're going to still keep the workouts the same. So let's put those in. So 3 workouts a week. If he wants to do a little bit more because he wants to really push at the end, that's fine. So let's go here. I would go Monday, Wednesday, Friday. What you could do is increase the time of the workouts. So rather than doing 30 minutes, you can now maybe do 40. Add. Okay, so that's gone in there. Now, where's the last 4 weeks? 1, 2, it will be here. So here's what I would do. I would go Monday the 30th. Now with the habits, I would increase his steps a little bit more if he can. I would say a new habit of 10,000 steps this time. Starting on Monday the 30th for 4 weeks. So if we go back to the calendar, okay, those are in. Okay, there's one more week here, but ignore that. And then with nutrition, what I would do is I would go. Now, if it depends at this stage, if Bob was happy with how much fat he was losing per week and we were on target, we would leave that the same. But let's just say he was feeling good, he was motivated, seeing results, he wanted to push a little bit more. I would drop even further. I would go 1,800 maybe for these last 4 weeks. And I would say to him, can you increase the protein just a little bit more to maybe 180, 40%? And then I would run that. And guess what? If you follow something like this, by the end of the plan, week 27, Bob has gone from 20% body fat, 25% to 15%. He's lost his loved handles. He's lost that stubborn body fat. All of that's gone by following that simple protocol. And guess what? If you're here, for example, you just do this for longer. Nothing changes. You don't need to do any crazy ab workouts to lose belly fat. You don't need to go on any silly diet and cut out all your carbs and cut out alcohol. None of that stuff works. It's all gimmicks. You just need to manage your calorie intake just like you manage your finances. It's no different. You need to know what comes in and what goes out. You do not need to work out every day. 3 workouts a week will be enough. And aim to, towards the end, be walking around 10,000 steps a day. Guys, that is it. It is that simple, I promise you. And again, if you then need more time to lose more weight, then you just keep doing the same thing. Keep running that deficit. Keep losing 1.5 pounds per week. And guess what? If you were here, or let's say you were 30% and you got to 15 and you want to get to 10, guess what? If you do that for another 6 weeks, 7 weeks, you get to 10% without changing anything. The issue that people have is the longer that a plan goes on for, generally, the adherence and the being able to stick to the plan, you know, they're not as good as at the beginning. So people at the beginning of a weight loss plan are very motivated, they have a lot of drive, but after 6 months, they can feel that it's going on forever, and then sometimes they bounce back. So this is why having the coaching, having someone to keep them accountable, to give them support, is a no-brainer, and it really helps people achieve, you know, results like this. These are just some. This was me, by the way. This was me when I wasn't happy with my body, and I ended up competing on a bodybuilding stage at the O2 in London. So that was awesome. I was about 6% body fat there, but it felt like crap. Anyway, so I hope that makes sense. That's pretty much it, guys. That is honestly all you need to do. So let's just go through it very quickly once again. Just do 3 workouts a week for about 30 or 40 minutes of anything that you enjoy. Make sure you're tracking your steps daily and try to increase them every 4 weeks. Start at around 5,000 and aim to finish at start at 5,000, aim to finish at 10,000 roughly. And with nutrition, just pick a number anywhere between 2,000 and 2,500, depending how active you are, right? I like to go down the middle, so say 2,200. Make sure at least 20% of those 2,200 calories come from protein. Run that for a week, see what happens to your weight. If your weight drops only a little bit, then drop the calories. If your weight drops too quick, right? If you lose 2 pounds that week, then up the calories a little bit. You want to find the sweet spot of losing about 1.5 pounds per week, and then you just rinse and repeat. It's really that simple, I promise you. Okay, so final thing, if you are someone who has been struggling and you don't really understand this and you want this done for you and support and the accountability, and you want to achieve these sort of results, then just reach out, because we can have a chat and we can see if it's a good fit and if we can help you get into, you know, really good shape. Or you can just follow this plan. Obviously this software, you know, doesn't exist. This is my software for my private clients, but you get an idea of what you need to do. Okay, 3 sessions a week, aim to walk 10,000 steps, and with the calories, just manage them and then adjust them weekly depending on what results you're getting on the scales each week. All right, guys. So once again, if you want some help or you just want to have a chat or you have some questions, there's a link that you can find in the details of this video. And if not, I hope that was useful. Any questions, add them in the comments, like the video, and I'll see you guys next time.